Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we're diving into a story of incredible transformation and empowerment. Our guest is a powerhouse advocate for women, pushing the boundaries of what it means to live a kick-ass life. I'm Phil Better, your podcast mogul, and I'm incredibly excited for this guest because they went from battling and overcoming personal challenges such as addiction to alcohol, emotional eating, to shedding a remarkable 100 pounds. Incredible journey and her journey is nothing short of inspirational, but she didn't stop with her own transformation. No. She turned her life lessons into a mission to help others. Starting from scratch, she built a coaching business dedicated to empowering women, helping them to kill their limiting beliefs and stop playing small. Known for her no-nonsense, straight-talk approach, she delivers real advice that resonates deeply with her audience. Her compelling message have not only seen her take on stages on podcasts, but also on events globally, where she ignites change with her motivational message that provokes action. She believes firmly that when we empower women to maximize their potential, we don't just change individual lives, we transform society. Period. End of discussion. And I agree with her. Her mission is bold and clear: to empower girls and women to find their voice, stop settling, and change the freaking world. Are you ready to be part of this change? Because I am. And now let's welcome to the podcast the indomitable, the transformational Heather LaFond. Heather, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I completely forgot to remove the stage blank, and so I couldn't get to see your reaction because I was reading a paper. But Heather, thank you so much for being here and bringing your wonderful smile.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, we're going to start right into the big question. Heather, why did you become an entrepreneur? What was it that made you decide to go into this crazy world of ours?
Well, I don't really like taking direction and being told what to do.
Good point.
So working like your typical 9 to 5 just has never really excited me. And I've wanted to have a greater impact than working that type of career can provide.
Nice. And when did it start for you? When did you go, oh, yeah, I'm going to jump into this world of entrepreneur? When did you get bit to be an entrepreneur?
I think it was kind of by force. So I started my career out of college. I graduated with a degree in exercise science, and I started as a personal trainer, which was sparked by the 100-pound weight loss and letting go of the drinking and emotional eating and stuff. But so I was working for a local gym, and the owner at the time when I first started working there was like, you know what, you're going to be the trainer to train with around here. You're awesome. We're going to give you a base pay, benefits, all this, because they saw the value that I provided to the clientele. I didn't just come in and train. I was like a fixture in that gym, and I really took ownership and pride in what I did. And, unfortunately, a big chain moved into the backyard. So you could look out the back door and see them back there, a $10 gym. And so that owner knew that his gym was going to struggle. And so he decided to sell it. So it exchanged hands. And then the new owner came in and was like, I don't know why you're getting all these benefits and stuff, but you're just a trainer. So we're going to take that from you. And I was like, I'm really feisty and stand up for myself, So I was just like, I will show you what just a trainer can do the day I walk out that effing door. And so a little, maybe a year later, that facility had become kind of like a black hole because a lot of the other clubs that they owned was pouring money into it to keep it afloat. because they really were struggling from that $10 gym moving in. And so they had to eliminate my position. And so I'm like being walked out the door. The next day, there's a line at the door of people coming in to cancel because the only reason they stayed was because of me.
Whew.
And so I had a really, strong client base from there. And they were like, you need to do something, Heather. You need to start something. And so that really, with their kind of kick in the pants and being, divine timing of the universe, that's when I started my business. And it's kind of shifted and evolved from then, because I don't do personal training anymore. But everything happened for a reason to lead me to where I am right now. So
I'm pretty sure the universe was trying to tell you to leave earlier.
Yeah,
That's sold, right? But you were being a stubborn person. You were being your feisty
so many times, like we get like these little nudges, and then it's like a whisper, and then it's like, all right, you're not going to listen. Here's a 2x4 to the face.
Yeah.
Like Tommy Boy style.
Yeah, wake up. So when you did obviously leave, and then the next day they had that large line of people saying bye, did you receive a call from the owner saying, can you come back, Heather? We really miss you?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were kind of not happy with me, just because I tried to file for like unemployment, and they were like, you're not going to get that. Well, guess what? I did.
The feisties always win. So when you left the gym, you were forced into the entrepreneurial world. What were the first ventures that you went into?
So, well, the first thing I really did was establishing an LLC to like make it legit. And my LLC was basically a middle finger to them because I called it Defiant Fitness. And then like later on, when I looked back and like looked up Defiance and really dug deep into it, it's something that's necessary to make a change, because when we try to start off on a new path and do new things, there are going to be obstacles, there are going to be challenges that are going to pop up in our way, and we need to be defiant to get past it and not give up on ourselves. So I was like, I was a genius. I didn't even know,
Hindsight's 2020. Hindsight's saying I'm a genius, and I'm going to go with that. I love that, and it's true. I can feel the defiance in you. Like you're not one of these people, like you said, to work a 9-to-5, the corporate world. You are made for someone to be your own boss and fly. You're a stallion that cannot be broken, in essence. When you were doing your Defiance Fitness, obviously that's where you start off. You already had that good client base, thankfully. When was the shift over to more spiritual coaching and the mindset? When did that kind of come into it?
So it was another cosmic 2x4.
I'm sensing a theme that the cosmos tries and talk to you, but you're like, no, sorry, I'm out of reception, until you get whacked back into reception.
Yeah. So when I started my career with personal training, I had that huge transformation, which inspired me to do so, right? Mm-hmm. But I never really dealt with the you know what I mean? The underlying reasons why I didn't feel good enough. And so I went from being really overweight to bodybuilding, like one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
And I didn't deal with my shit. I don't know if you can swear on here.
Yeah, as long as it's not the C word that the Aussies and Brits use, we're good.
Yeah. So I hadn't dealt with the reason why I didn't feel good enough. And so I was just running away from my stuff, and I got into bodybuilding, was hyper focused on my physical appearance. And I was squatting, angry squatting. Don't ever do that. So I had a lot of weight on my back on the barbell, and I was squatting, and I heard a pop, and I injured my left. So it was like, okay, you're not going to listen. So now we're going to make you listen. You can't do all those things anymore, because I was doing personal training, but I also had a group fitness going on. I had instructors working for me and working with me. And then I also taught kickboxing and boot camp and kettlebells and all this. So I was like, go, go, go. Classes at 5 a.m. till like 8 o'clock at night, doing stuff physically, and that little cosmic 2x4 again with that injury forced me to look at my shit and heal it, because I can't outrun what I'm trying to run from anymore.
And how long did it take you to start working on your shit? Because obviously you already had the, I'll say routine. It's not really a routine. You already had the blueprint on how to change physically. When you started working on the mental changes, which is extremely harder, 10 times
Yeah.
harder than working on the physical changes, did you have a lot of hiccups to getting through those mental barriers that you were running from? Then all of a sudden you had no choice, can come face to face with, like, what were you going through emotionally and mentally when you were like, okay, I can't squat anymore, I can't do any of what was making me happy, and now you're faced with your demons, if you will, of your past? What was that like for you?
I almost felt like that was another rock bottom that I had hit, because before I had the courage to change initially and lose all that weight, that was a pretty big rock bottom.
Mhm.
And this one, I felt like I had like the business that I loved. I loved what I did with fitness. I still love it. It's just I just can't do that with good conscience anymore, knowing that a lot of those women that would come to me, that their issues are deep rooted, and that doing diet and exercise is just surface level bullshit. It's like trying to weed your yard and get all the dandelions out of your yard by popping the flowers off. And then the next day you come out and there's more dandelions there, because you didn't get to the root of the problem. And some of those roots go really deep, like
Mhm.
10 feet deep. So I, in good conscience, couldn't continue down that path with other people. But for myself, I had a friend that I'm really close with, one of my best friends, and she had just gone through this subconscious mindset training program. And she's like, you know what, girl, come out to me. She lived in Kansas at the time, and I'll help you. And so we did this breakthrough. It's like 10 hours of work in a weekend. We just pounded it out and got down to the root of it.
I love it. And when you found the root of it, you found the cause of the addiction, the eating, the overweight, the unhappiness, the negative, the Dr. Jekyll, no, Mr. Hyde, if you will. I call mine Mr. Hyde. All the bad in my life is Mr. Hyde. When you found Mrs. Hyde, if you will, um, what was that moment like? Like when you're sitting in Kansas, surrounded by your friend, you're surrounded by love, obviously, because you're trying to help yourself become better, and you finally reach that wall, that brick, that place where you're like, oh fuck, this is not something I want to deal with. Can I run? When you finally push through and you started playing, trying to get through, overcoming that obstacle, what was the emotional sense work? Because I know from my own personal battles with my rock bottomness, um and my mental health, that it is not a fun place to be.
Right.
What what were you going through, like, emotionally, mentally, when you were finally face to face with the demons, the evil that was inside you, if you will, that caused you to be the unhappy person you were?
Um, well, in the moment when I was facing all of that, I was just like, bring it on, because I'm done. Like, I'm done living my life this way. And I know that I'm meant for more. And I need to get out of my own fucking way so that I can help others. So, and now, even now, like, you're never perfect. That's not the goal. Like, perfection's not the goal. So even still, like, sometimes there's like that itty bitty shitty committee that comes up in the back of the mind. And now I'm really good at just like feeding it a banana and telling it to shut up. Like, it's a process. At first, like, you give into it, right? And now you're kind of like, that's funny. Like, I have so much evidence that says what you're saying is not right. So it's really like practicing to be able to move past that and get forward. And now, anytime that something's brought to light that needs to be seen and held and healed, I'm like, bring it on.
I love it. I love that you went from the bottom of bottoms. Now you're like, you have no power over me. Um, with that relevation, you think a podcaster would know how to speak and say words, right?
Revelation.
There we go. That fun word that Phil can't say, or is having difficulty saying. When you had that revelation that, oh shit, I am this powerful. The itty bitty shitty committee has no power over me. Was a weight lifted off your shoulders? Like, did you feel like you're now able to fly? You're able to do everything because you now had this like idea of how to fight the itty bitty shitty committee, which I'm now stealing that as a line from every single podcast going forward.
Yay. Yeah. It's awesome when you have that bravery to be able to continue to push forward and to tell it to F off and just keep going. For me, I really pride myself on doing things that make me uncomfortable, because the more that we step outside that zone of comfort, the more courage we gain, the more confident we are. And so if something makes me nervous, I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? Just go for it anyway. Just do it.
Which is again something that previous entrepreneurs have reiterated. Your zone of growth is in your zone of uncomfortableness. That's where you all the good gold is, if you will. I want to talk about your straight shooting, because you've been very straight with us so far, and I know that people who talk in a straight style, in their straight talk style and delivering advice, they can have some issues. And I want to know, how have you used this approach and it influence the effectiveness of your message and the response from your audience?
I feel that it's kind of polarizing, right? Because sometimes it can trigger things within people. And in my book, like, it's no bullshit. And that's how, when I'm in my power, that's how I am. And I'm not there to like cause hurt or pain to someone, but to bring things to light. And time is precious. I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to get straight to the point, with love. And if you're triggered by it, that's showing something that is a place of improvement for you, because we're being triggered for a reason. There's something that needs to be healed there.
I like that. It's very interesting. Now you're making me think about my life. Thank you. In the middle of an interview, I'm now trying to be, reflective when I should be more focused. And I'll try and get back onto the track here. Heather, you've done some incredible things. Like, shedding 100 pounds is not an easy task. I know from experience that it can take a lot of motivation and willpower. With the individuals that you help, I don't want to just say women, because I'm pretty sure there's probably some men somewhere listening to you and have gotten help from you. With the individuals listening to you and working with you, what have you seen being the majority of their issues? Like, is there one issue or one sticking point that they have when they come see you that you see nearly consistently through all the people that you've helped?
Well, it's all has to do with the subconscious mind and the limiting beliefs that they have about themselves. So whether that's something that their parents said to them or that they observed while they were growing up, like from the age of like 0 to 7, we're a sponge and we're taking in everything in our environment. And that's forming our viewpoints of the world around us. And so oftentimes our family, when we're growing up, plays a huge role in how we view ourselves and our ability to achieve success, our enoughness, our worthiness. So it's usually stemming from that subconscious mindset. And I actually was inspired after my friend led me through that breakthrough to pursue that for myself. So I am trained to get into that subconscious mind and to help people heal through NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy. So
I love that. Oh, I love how you also upgraded your skills so that you can be that extra oomph when
yeah.
needed for your clients or for anybody. And I want to talk about this because it touches on your coaching philosophy and your approach to this, because you built it from scratch and you focused on empowering women to lead full lives. And what core principles or strategies do you believe are most effective in helping women overcome their limiting beliefs and stop playing small?
I think the biggest thing is really to allow them to embrace who they are, or who they get to be, right? Because sometimes we hold ourselves back and because of those limiting beliefs, we think like, oh, who am I to think I could do this or that? And we play small and we don't want to be seen. And that was a lot of my story growing up. And I share a little bit about that in my book, but I was bullied in junior high and I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not a small girl. So I'm like, I stuck out. And those boys that picked on me, it made me over time, I would like kind of, shrink
Shrink down.
down, be in the back of the photos, not wanting to be seen, not want to be stand out. I don't want to be target, right? And I really had to stand in my power and know that I am the way I am. I was built the way I am because I was made to stand out, because I was made to have an impact. I can't do that if I'm a tiny little hide. Not that tiny people can't be, but for
Impactful.
me,
If you're a big person, you got to play to your strength. If you're a
yeah,
small
you
person, you
got to
play to
own
your,
it.
yeah. I love it. No, that is great. And it does resonate saying that women need to stop playing small. They need to stand inside their power and blast it to the universe, in whatever way it is. For you, it's being a straight shooter, no nonsense talker that helps people in their spiritual and mindset. Um, I would love to get a little help on mindset, to display your abilities and what you have done. Um, if you could walk us through, if you have a um, little technique, if you will, to help the audience and myself with our mindset, or maybe our spiritual or just our regular mindset, to stop playing small. Is there something that you can teach us right now that we can take and use to help us out?
Yeah. So it makes sense that we want to be that small person and to fit in and not stand out, because when we look at the survival instinct of our subconscious mind, we need to conform to the tribe and be a part of this group. Because if we are set apart from that and we're outcasts, that means like we're not going to have food, water, shelter. We may not make it, right? We might encounter a saber-toothed tiger or something. But really nowadays we don't have that kind of threat, right? So it's not really logical, but it's built into us subconsciously. So for me and for my clients, anytime that we feel like this fear bubbling up, we get to question it, right? We get to ask ourselves if this is something that is rational. You feel sensations in your body for a reason, just like when you're triggered, right? And
Mhm.
so the biggest way to combat anything that's coming up, or that whether that be a fear or a limiting belief, is to look for evidence to the contrary of it. So if you're in a situation and let's say you're more of a shy person, you're in this like networking environment or something, and the first thing you want to do is like turn around and go out the door because, you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this, if I could talk to people. But you can look at instances in the past where you were able to get out of your comfort zone and be able to shine your light and just be confident in your presence. Because I'm sure that there were times in the past that you just like walked into a room and you owned it, right? So the more that we can compound evidence against that belief or that fear, then it becomes laughable, just like that little itty bitty shitty committee, right? So, don't spit your coffee everywhere.
Thankfully, I waited till after you had finished that sentence because I'm pretty sure I would have spit out the coffee because of the itty bitty. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Shut up, itty bitty shitty committee. That's the greatest thing to come out of a podcast. Itty bitty shitty committee. Heather, when we look to the future, because the future can cause anxiety, can cause some people to feel small, if you will, because the future is so vast. Where do you see your journey going in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what is it on the path that Heather wants to accomplish so that she reaches her people and she reaches the goals? Like, what are you looking to be in 10 years from now?
My biggest goal is to be able to help others and to have an impact on the people that I come across. And when I envision my future, I envision myself still being an international speaker, being highly sought after, having some #1 best-selling books coming out, and being able to, when I go to these places to speak, being able to give back in a big way and support a cause that's near and dear to my heart. I love children. I love being able to uplift and empower them, and to encourage them to question things. Too much we're taught to like color inside the lines, but what's the fun in that? And then you're just sheep, question everything. And I love animals. So I would love to be able to help all the animals that don't have homes. I think my boyfriend would probably be a little bit upset if I was like courting them. I might take a couple.
1 or 2 extra furry friends won't hurt.
Look the other way.
Yeah. Don't come into this side of the house, okay, or the apartment.
Yeah.
This is our part. You can have that part. This is for furry friends, and this is non-furry friends.
Yeah, but just being able to uplift and encourage and support women and children and men, not that I'm against men. It's just I feel that women resonate more with my journey. I am actually going to Kenya this fall on a humanitarian and keynote speaking tour. Yeah, so I'm super excited for that. It's going to be awesome.
I am super excited. That sounds like an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to hearing all about it when you get back and all the lives you changed. Since this show is about investing in yourself, obviously, and we want to give some advice to the audience about investing in themselves, what routines or habits do you have to continually invest in yourself that you care to share with my audience?
I am a big fan of self-care because if we don't fill up our cup, we can't give to others. So it's so important that we fill our cup up first so we can serve from a place of overflow and not depletion and lack. So every day I have a routine with how I start my morning. Besides taking care of my little fur balls, I get to the gym. I move my body in a way that makes me happy. I know not everybody enjoys, lifting weights and stuff, but find something that you enjoy. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's going for a walk with friends, but just move your body. And then I do EFT tapping to help with limiting beliefs and things and just to get my energy right. And I do meditation, and I'll do channeled journaling after that, just to connect with God, source, the universe. So everybody's got to get their little like routine going to fill their cup up first thing so that you can be great for the rest of your day.
I love that, and I love how you reiterated the tapping, because a previous guest also mentioned that she's taught her son the tapping to help him with his anxiety and his feelings. So that's another point in for that, and I guess I'm going to have to start doing that if it's coming. If two people suggested, it's not a coincidence at that point.
Don't wait for that 2x4.
Yeah, I don't need that 2x4. I'm going to consider this my 2x4, and I'm going to start doing the tapping, because I do not want to have a philosophical 2x4 smacking me in my face. Heather, we are unfortunately coming to the end, which I hate, because I'm having a great time. I'm laughing. I'm enjoying my time. I'm learning so much from such a straight shooter as yourself. However, I would love to know, because I have your 10-year-old self here, and she is taller than me at this age, and I'm a little sad because I feel like a short king when I'm already a short king. But anyways, what piece of advice you would love to hand back to your 10-year-old self? What is it to your 10-year-old self that you want to share?
Yeah. I would tell her to speak up, to not be afraid to be seen, and it's okay to take up space.
Great advice. It's perfect. It's relevant today to the 10-year-old, to the 30, 50, 60-year-old. Like you need to understand that it's okay to stand up, be yourself, speak up, and embrace that power that's inside of us, and not listen to the itty bitty shitty committee.
Yeah.
Freaking
and
committee.
Stop apologizing.
That's true. Apologize when necessary, but not for everything. Do not apologize for being uniquely yourself or authentically yourself. Heather, I'm going to jump off the stage here. I want you to let my audience know where they can connect with you, how they can join your course, join anything, be connected to the most straight shooter I have met, and that. So the floor is yours.
All right, everybody. You can find me at heatherlafond.com. There you will find a link to grab my book if you'd like to grab that. It's called Rise and Roar, Unleash Your Inner Power. And it's all about getting out of your own fucking way. It's all the mindset tips and tricks and some journal prompts to get you going. And I also have a beautiful community on Facebook. It's called 1111, The Circle of Trust. And it's a community for sensitive individuals, spiritual individuals, where they can feel seen and safe and supported. And every month we do a mediumship reading over Zoom, which we just did the other night. And it was absolutely beautiful. And we also have some guest speakers that come in and share about different things when it comes to all things woo-woo. So if you'd like to check that out, find me on Facebook.
Heather, thank you so much. To my audience, you know what? Down in the show notes, you'll find all those links to Heather's group, and I highly suggest you go check it out. Even if you're not into the woo-woo, you'll actually benefit greatly from just the positivity that's there. Heather, I can't thank you enough for being here and being such an amazing guest. I had such a pleasure chatting with you.
It was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
And I have to thank you for the itty bitty shitty committee thought process. Now that's going on a shirt. I needed to be on a shirt. I guess there's another sign from the universe.
It's time to go. No,
it's time to go. The fur balls need a walk. Heather, I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being an amazing guest and sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
To my audience, as always, show notes I've said already, but remember to always invest in yourself.